we'll reschedule the art class for hopefully later this week.
Oh, hello.
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 How goes?
Well, very well. I was just working, and then we got kidnapped here.
Oh, did you?
Something like that.
So, what should today's event be? It's a bit of a last-minute change. Let's chat today.
Peter Mohrbacher is sick.
Yes,
So
he's sick today, so instead we have mystery event.
Type of mystery it can be.
The event itself is the mystery.
And it is.
Finally off heavy pain meds. That's good. Battle/mod talk? That's an idea.
ooh, I like that. Um, I like that. We can get kinky up here. She has those slides.
But she's working for another hour. So we could kill time until then and have a proper battle on stage. Little test run.
No, we could also do that.
Good afternoon.
Feeling very purple.
Hello.
I want to share a funny prompt. Apparently, there is a deep sea fish. It's called the barrel eye fish, where the first quadrant of its head is transparent, so it can see everything. So all you see these two green globules. So I decided, what does it do in Midjourney? And this is what I get. So, yeah.
If ever I were to think of a moldy ice cube with ice, this would be what I think of.
So that's your prompt. One of the prompts I like to share. There you go. Barrel eye fish. Enjoy.
It does look like a feel.
So this is a billing event? Kind of.
The purpling.
Stage is very purple right now.
Oh, no, yeah, do. Come on.
Yes,
Yeah,
you can just jump on.
You count.
Or, well,
Oh, please jump on.
You're at least half purple. Come on, get up here.
And there she is. Welcome to the mystery event.
Do all of you know what the mystery event is? Am I the only one that doesn't?
The mystery event is a mystery event.
It's a mystery
Yes.
to everyone involved.
It's a grand mystery. It's all skate.
Hey. Funny, you were just in chat and now you're here.
But Peter is sick today, so different event instead.
No, you were
New podcast called We Are Billing You for This Conversation. Can I open VC Create 2 things other than character sheets? Yes.
Have the word billing.
Okay, I changed it so you can just use any prompt with a vowel in it. That should cover anything you want to do right now. Unless you decide to limit it for reasons.
The daily theme is billing.
Does that include why? It does now. Alternatively, I could change it every few minutes, so it only sometimes includes why.
So, how was everyone's weekend? Or
Lots of Starfield.
When will this mystery get revealed? That's a good question. As I said before, the event itself is the mystery. What happens? Who knows? But on the idea of the prompt battle, I'll actually message Kinky about that now. See what she thinks.
Well, you have Bob to run a maybe could run a Palooza thing.
I was just gonna like suggest that maybe Bob can do the emoji prompt Palooza thing, because that's a lot of fun.
Why are the Scooby-Doo gifts like that? I'm so afraid now. But I have to look.
Oh, you should share the
Oh my god. I just got to the first weird.
Yes, there are a couple.
Something.
What? Put it on mask one.
Oh yeah, they just keep getting weirder.
I'm telling you, what is up with that? And I try to put Scooby-Doo mask, but all the mask ones were weird, like they were just NFTs or something like that. So I just see Scooby-Doo, and I'm like scrolling, and yeah, that's my story.
I think the first weird one is relatable because I think that is actually an AC.
What?
But it's you.
I need context.
It's coming.
How is that one me?
It's an AC.
hey, look.
AC unit.
Are you
Is it?
an AC unit?
I'm not sure. But maybe. Shrug. Yes, the mystery event is a mystery event. The mystery is the event.
Billing AMA.
That's something.
Amazing.
But there will be a thing later on, once Kinky is available.
Nice.
That will be in about an hour and 20 minutes. So we have a bit of time to kill.
Maybe this.
Cake?
Yes, please.
Cupcake?
You said once something is available, and I thought you said once cake is available.
Once Kinky is available.
Oh, kinky.
Yes.
But now I want cake.
Yeah. It's the mystery that there's cake. It's a mysterious cake.
I thought you were gonna get that cake shake. They were
I
talking
was
about.
so tempted to.
Oh my god, same.
The cake is reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Engines pumping.
We just happened to be talking about Chicago food and internal, and someone brought up the cake shake.
At Portillo.
Yeah,
I've never had, but I really want to try now.
same.
But
It's-
they're
Very tempting.
like obviously very lots of calories, so like maybe more than you should eat in a day. So
On a somewhat related note and mysterious note, I got the Coke AI flavor to try out. It's interesting, in a word.
Coke AI.
Okay, I?
Not very interesting.
What?
Yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
It's called
What is it?
Y3000. It's like, does it come in diet? Yeah, there's a zero version.
Oh, yeah. Y3000.
They did check with like the FDA first, right? That sounds like how you get food poisoning, is having an AI design your beverages. The AI revolution has begun. We will start
plenty of
seeing
videos
people
online of people
counting
trying
soda.
AI recipes, for better and worse.
This is how you get sacrificed to the AI god.
Honestly, the GPT
just a friendly reminder.
recipes are the most hilarious.
Just a reminder.
Nanobots in.
I want to
AI
talk.
will hallucinate. You will get food poisoning.
Or it might just have you drink mustard gas.
What did you want to talk about, Flunkles?
No, everybody was just overlapping talking, so I felt left out. But I didn't understand what anybody was saying. Everybody was talking over each other.
You just wanted to add to the chaos.
Yes.
You're perfect.
But as I said elsewhere, the flavor kind of tastes like a mix of trending on ArtStation and using LLMs as search engines.
He says, or she, I don't know, can't tell. They say, hey, is there going to be any talk about in painting during this mystery? I don't know. Is
There could be.
there?
There is now.
What should we
Having some
talk
onward
about?
and paint.
We can paint inside the picture. Wow. What else?
I've been doing a lot of weird in painting lately, so it's hard to like describe it rather than show it.
Oh, that grid thing was interesting. Or if you like use the select tool instead of the uh
Marquee instead of the lasso.
yeah, I forgot the word for rectangle first. But if you use like the select tool, the freehand one, and you try to like leave some gaps in between the like broader area that you're selecting, it will stick closer to the original image while still changing it, instead of doing the thing where it'll just completely, like, it'll change it to the point where it doesn't even make sense. So I thought that was interesting. There's a good example somewhere. I don't have it.
I posted it. It relates to that.
It really depends on what you're going for, though. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, I got that last picture.
That, yeah. I know that's from a selfie of him. Funny. Big shout out to Mavis.
Here's what I've been doing with in painting lately, which is a bunch of weird stuff. In painting characters in, then remixing, then in painting more and such. A very fun flow.
I've been wondering if we could get anything similar to the pictures that have been coming out from ControlNet lately with in painting. I haven't tried it, but I want it to be possible, like in my heart. Do you know what I'm talking about? AC, you do. I know you do.
Yes, that's actually inspired by that. The one I posted.
Oh, the one you posted?
Yeah.
Here, I'll post a picture in chat so people know what I'm talking about. I didn't make what I'm about to post, but I saw them and I was hoping that they were made in Midjourney because they look so cool, and I was like, this could be possible in Midjourney with in painting, but I don't think they were. They were Stable Diffusion. This stuff.
Well, David has said that ControlNet things are being looked into, but can't give any details on that.
I really like that. That is so cool.
It's kind of funny because I saw these right after a discussion in internal where Jack was like, oh yeah, I have a friend in like art college admissions. It's like they're having issues now because, you know, people with good technical skills can just generate anything in Midjourney or any other AI image generator and just not trace it, but copy it. You know, if you have good technical skills, you can do that. And I was like, well, that's not really an AI problem. That's been an issue for even before.
Plagiarism is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew a guy who was like, everybody hated him. I have so many stories about how much he sucked. But like, that was one of the things he was kind of notorious for. He'd be like, oh, look at my concept art. And it's like, you know, it's just like, I don't know if he like actually traced it or not, but like pretty much looked the same, but with like, you know, a couple of key things changed. But it was like, you know, somebody else's composition and stuff. And because I went to art school and he got away with it, and it like pissed a lot of people off. But then I like literally 20 minutes later after that conversation, I saw that and I was like, God damn it. Maybe that's more right than I thought. Because, you know, copying or finding something like this to copy would be hard. So I don't know if that was interesting.
Yeah. It did. Yeah.
Okay, someone just DM'd me asking for tips on how to make a character consistent. Image prompts.
We have a whole event series for that.
There's a weekly event about that on Fridays.
Yeah.
We're trying to actually set up the event for this week for.
Go to that one.
But
This
it
guy-
will be back to basics this week. So if you want to join that,
He like actually knows what he's
all over how to make consistent characters.
You'll get a lot better info through that event than through us. To be honest. Because we're pretty deep in there. But I don't know, like a lot of the community members have way more interesting insights to these things.
And there are also a lot of different routes to get what you want.
Exactly.
Like you can do consistent characters with in-painting too. To some interesting effects. Was actually just doing that on Saturday for my Pokemon Unique series. To make consistent Marowak and Alolan Marowak.
Oh, that looks very good.
Very nice.
It's very nice.
Is something like that even feasible to implement? The applying an image prompt, applying a prompt to the image upside down? Probably. I don't know the tech side, but I would assume that something like that could be done. It's just a very limited use case, you know?
Being able to apply it upside down would be very nice to be able to make double exposures in dark areas that you have in an image. Not gonna lie.
What do I mean by image prompt? You can use a link to an image or multiple image links of the same character to create that character more consistently in a prompt. What happens if you swap an image prompt for an upside down mirror mid-remix? That could be interesting. Does it have to be links from Midjourney links? No, it can be any image link.
Long as nobody ever tells you, it's still a mystery.
This is about mysteries.
Probably cat voice.
Surprisingly, haven't happened yet, except for in the banner image. That was mandatory.
Yet is the keyword.
You invited him up without, like, asking if he wanted to come up?
Hi, Shammy.
No,
No, I don't know what
asked
you're
me
talking
anything.
Nope. I have no clue.
Every problem in Midjourney can in fact be traced to people not asking me first. This is true. No, but I'm gonna try that because it sounds cool. I'm gonna do a Megan image prompt and then flip them all over to go into Photoshop and actually do this.
Yeah, that sounds like it could have some really fun results. V6 is not coming out yet. You will know when V6 is about to come out.
Be the rate.
Ian's about the narrative team. No. We did a testing thing with it. It was cool. It was just very early testing though, so things are bound to change.
I got to test it. I can't say anything more. I just wanted to feel included.
Yes. I will say that one thing that I have been saying, that I did not start anywhere near it and got to Catboys kissing.
That's a lie.
No, it's
Come
not.
on.
You can go back to it and check, I think, if it's still up.
Yeah.
Like, started with Catboy, then
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm hearing.
there was a bunch of stuff in between that was completely unrelated to that.
Mm-hmm.
That is very adjacent. You started.
I don't know. You're fighting real hard for this.
No, like, I wish I could show it to you guys. Like, there was
Yeah.
a start of Catboy,
Just show it because I will never believe you anyway.
and then a different thing someone else was doing, and then mine took off in a cyberpunk direction, and then eventually went back to Catboys, which then kissed.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
It always starts with Catboy. Yes, it does. Literally, the first prompt I run whenever we're testing something new is the cutest Catboy. That is my benchmark prompt.
In the beginning, they were AC saw that it was.
Goofball,
Which
you were
one
very
was the
quiet.
cutest?
I can barely hear you.
You are very quiet, Goof.
The cutest one was probably the Nietzsche cute one.
I mean, that tracks.
I'll have to say, if you want to be AC's friend, the privilege of being AC's friend comes with being sent cat boys constantly in your inbox.
Constantly.
That's just
And
you.
only a select few people get the kind that you get sent.
Okay,
Arguably too few.
I told you that.
What's that mean?
I don't always know what to say, or like, I'm just like, cool. Like, I enjoy that I get to see what you're up to. I'm just saying it's a privilege of being your friend. A privilege, okay?
We think she does protest too much.
Why would it, like, if you want me to change it, I'll change it from constantly to regularly. Is that better?
Fair.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, I don't think I'm DM'd enough Catboys.
That can be changed.
I don't get DM'd any Catboys, so, you know.
That can also change.
Yeah, but that is because you're a meanie and you send horrible foot gifts in people's DMs. Like, you do not deserve Catboys, John.
Only to you.
He's never gonna let that go. It's so good.
Okay, fine.
I'll do it
I need to send
weekly.
Catboys to the billing team regularly. That can be arranged.
It can be the daily cat boy or the daily.
I
Mailing list.
yes, please.
Oh my god, I tried to do my own daily meme and I completely forgot. It's like 2 weeks. Oh no.
Catboy billing list.
I've been very disappointed.
Please.
Subscribe.
Maybe I'll start yet another Twitter account just for Catboys.
Yeah, Jay also gets no Catboys and is disappointed.
Yes, I saw that. That's why I said maybe I just need to start sending them to the entire billing team.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with the amount of Catboys that's generated on Midjourney, it's weird that this is not already a thing.
I mean, to be fair, what was it, last month? I gave you guys enough Catboys to last at least a year.
No, that last
No. We already
like
ran
the hour that we were looking at them.
Yes, but if you were looking at each one individually on it, and were only sent one a day,
I just want to say you're welcome to the billing team for making this happen.
Yeah. Big ol' thank you.
Thank you.
as long as it took them to generate on Turbo. If you're just taking how long it took them to generate, then it didn't even last a minute.
Exactly.
Especially the ones on Q.25.
And stop 60.
Those one lasted a few seconds. This is their billing news.
There's always
No,
news in
not
billing.
public billing news. Nothing worth actually discussing.
Have you guys had any interesting dreams lately?
All of mine have just been weird.
That would require sleep.
Ha!
We don't sleep in billing.
All of my sleep lately has been accidental.
Have you had any interesting dreams lately, Knuckles?
Yeah.
Is there something you want to tell us, maybe, perhaps?
Hey. One of my dreams last night, I was in my apartment, and my apartment has really big windows, like on two walls, like 14 or 15, something stupid like that. And I was dreaming that there was this like really crazy, there was like this really crazy storm, like a snowstorm. And I was like freaking out, and then suddenly there was like some sort of like hole that like came through the window, but it was like chill. Like it wasn't like scary. It was like, oh, there's a pole in the window. Cool. And that's my dream. I really did not have a dream in mind when I asked that. I just randomly thought about it. Wanted to know if you guys...
I can confirm that her windows are huge. They're floor to ceiling, and it's a quite tall apartment.
It's weird because I actually don't... I think that's the first time I've had a dream in this apartment. I have a lot of dreams of like weird different places. And they're very vivid and very lucid, and they're always kind of not scary, but like not creepy, but just like a little ominous. And that's actually why I downloaded The Sims a couple of years ago during the pandemic. I had to delete it because it was too much. I had like 400 gigabytes of mods and stuff. It was bad. But like that's actually why I first downloaded it, because I was like, I want to build the places in my dreams.
I'd just like to point out, AC, without context, you saying that you can confirm her windows are really large sounded really creepy. You're like, here, confirm. Windows are really large. Bushes are really prickly.
I've been in her apartment multiple times with her permission.
No. It's because he's looked inside of them. He's found me, and I've out of the corner of my eye, goes, "That is the AC?"
That would be difficult.
And then he ducks.
You just see little cat ears poking up.
Yeah.
For context, she is several stories up.
I'm on the 12th floor. It's all right. You can float.
Catboys are known for their climbing prowess.
I had another dream the other night that I was in a building that was like shaking so bad, and then like the building next to me just crumbled. I don't know where I'm going with this, but this is weird. I vote we move on.
I've been having those dreams like, so you go to sleep and then you sleep and then you dream and then you wake up at an ungodly hour of the morning and you're like, I'm not ready yet. And
Yes.
you forget that dream and then you have like maybe an hour or 2 hours more like dream time left. And that dream is literally like an insane movie script. It's so deep and intense. I've been having that lately and waking up very tired.
Do you wake up during the middle of your dream?
Yeah, because usually something happens in a dream that is like too intense, that you cannot deal, and you're like, yeah, I'm off now. I'm done.
That might be why. If your REM gets interrupted in the middle, you're more likely to wake up tired.
Yeah. But I've already had like at least like 4.5, 5-ish hours before that, usually. Sleep is weird.
Okay, Caleb is listening. Hi, Caleb.
Hi,
Feel free to
Caleb.
come up if you'd like.
We're talking about dreams. I
Does
really
anyone
go ahead.
does anyone here?
I to be honest, I saw Mystery Event and I was sucked in by the title. Are we releasing something that I don't know?
Nope.
Nope.
Just checking in. I'm gonna leave, but maybe listen in the background. But pop out. But
No, releasing cat boys into AC's DMs.
We're releasing something he does know? Not yet.
What were you gonna say, San?
Oh yeah, I was wondering if anyone here keeps a dream journal. And to the people that do, how far into writing do you get like your dream down as it actually was? And when do you notice like I cannot remember? Like how does it work?
I never
I've
remember
tried
my dreams.
before. I didn't. The problem with it was the journal that I had at the time for it wasn't like the pages weren't long enough, so I couldn't really write what was actually happening because it was just so short.
But you were able to keep on to like the memory of the dream long enough for you to be able to pen it all down.
Yeah.
That is insane. Like I have like it's very fleeting. Like it's just one moment it's there and the next moment it's gone.
And maybe it depends on the day. Like there are days I wake up and it's definitely like that too. But I found when I was doing that, I found that when I did write them down, well, the first thing I found was that writing it down, it was very difficult to actually write it down in a way that felt accurate. Because I could kind of describe what was happening, but it wasn't, like, it wouldn't necessarily capture the full memory of it, you know? Like, even just the way I described the pole dream that I had, like, it was a lot weirder than that, but I don't know how else to just articulate it. But I found that when I did write it down, even though it wasn't like the full articulation of it, it was easier to then hold on to those memories of the dream. And because of that, I still remember some dreams that I had when I was a teenager.
I seem to be recycling dreams in some kind of way because sometimes I'm dreaming something and then I'm like, I dreamed this before. I've been here before. And it's not like a real place, but something is like the same. in my
Yeah.
dreamland.
That happens to me a lot too. Or like themes of dreams. Like sometimes like my dreams are like it's like my subconscious, or depending on your spiritual belief, something telling me that like something's going on that I may not consciously realize, or like relates to my day life in some way. But like usually when I look back, I'm like, wow, that was very closely tied to this point of my life.
Yeah.
Do you have are there like places that you visit in your dreams that you'll then revisit later?
Yeah. Also objects. It's very weird, but it's this towel that my mom used to always pack for swimming practice. And I have this one dream where it keeps reoccurring on like the when it's drying, when it's being washed, when it's hanging out. It's so weird. It's so vivid.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's trying to tell you.
As a child, I also had these horrible, horrible recurring night terrors that were always the same. Yeah.
A dream protector. Interesting. Yeah,
I just wanted a link to turn my dreams into prompts so I don't have to worry about remembering them.
yeah, I think it'd be super interesting to like have Midjourney hooked up to my brain, and if it could somehow show what I'm dreaming.
Have like a fMRI hooked up while you're sleeping, and have it.
Yeah, it's not
prompt.
scary at all. It's fine. Oh, Shambibble left.
Knuckle magnetic resonance images.
Maybe with that new technology that is being developed in what is called Gaussian splatting, you could actually like envision our dreams.
Unfortunately for me, the only night things I remember are night terrors that don't dream unless it's bad.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That really sucks. I wonder how people dream in relation to how they think. Like, you know how David's obsessed with asking people like, oh, do you think in pictures? Do you have like a narrative in your head? You know, like some people, they cannot see pictures in their head at all. That's crazy to me, because my imagination is so vivid. I can, it's like I'm not even in real life sometimes if I try really hard. Like, I can walk around places in my head. If it's like a real place that I've known or been before, that's
It's so easy to revisit that.
a lot easier. Yeah.
And yeah, like and when you've seen a picture once, you can just close your eyes and you can revisit that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people don't do that, and I don't. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me.
Do you also have a narrator or just images?
Both mixed feelings. It's everything. Well, the narrator is interesting though, because I grew up. This is a little weird thing, but I moved to Germany when I was 3, and my parents sent me to German kindergarten for a hot minute, and I went to German school up to 2nd grade, so I actually became fluent in German as a child. Like I went to so I went to my like next door neighbors. They would watch me after school, and they Frau Ute and Herr Jürgen, and yeah, so that was interesting. And I have memories too of learning the language, and that's a whole other thing. But it's interesting because all of my memories that I had that happened in German, I remember it in English now, because I can't speak German anymore. I'm not fluent anymore.
That is so funny.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
They did not have like a wicked German accent. They sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, because I still learned to speak English first, but also because I
But
went.
not like in your dreams now, because somewhere your mind knows that the original memory occurred in German.
Yeah,
Like your mind just gives it a twist and a wicked German accent.
I'm sure if I went back to Germany and like immersed myself in it, it would be maybe easier to pick up. I don't know, than other adults who've never spoken it. There's sometimes like there's been points in my life where I'll like hear a German word and I'll like immediately know, or I'll like I remember that happened once with the word Pferd, and I was like horse, but then I like second guessed myself and I was like and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
And that was crazy to me because if you had asked me what the German word for horse was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you at that time. So it still comes. There's
some very early on linking in your brain, like associations.
Yeah, I don't know. I apparently when I was a child, I would get German and English mixed up, and I'd speak both in the same sentences.
They say that for learning a language, it is best if a child first has a base language that it fully understands, so that it can build off of that base.
That's pretty much where I was at. That's crazy.
Yeah.
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 I have some funny stories around that. Like there was one time I remember, like I actually have this memory in my head. Like nobody told me about this, but I remember Herr Jürgen, he was upset with me about something, and I just remember like little child me like looking up at him, adult him, and he was like wagging his finger at me and like yelling something at me or telling me something very sternly. But I didn't understand what he was saying because it was still so, the language was still so new to me that I just like in my head was like, yeah, this makes sense. And so I turned around and like stood beside him and started yelling and wagging at the floor. He was like, wait, what are you doing? Anyways, language and dreams.
Good old Lingwange.
What was that?
It's good old Lingwange.
Does anybody have synesthesia?
Maybe. What is it?
It's like it's like if you associate one sense with another sense. So
Words having colors and such.
Oh.
Or smells or tastes.
It's not just that too, but like there are also like letters or numbers or things will feel like gendered and whatnot to you. Like there's all sorts of weird things come with synesthesia.
I have every day of the week is a certain color, and if you try to tell me that it's a different color, you're wrong. And it's almost weird. So like I almost like some of them I don't know how people would see it as a different color. Like it just what color? Well, it's the days of the week. So Monday is red, Tuesday is like a light blue, Wednesday is orange, Thursday is like purple indigo-ish, Friday is green, Saturday is silver, and Sunday is gold or yellow.
But in billing, every day is purple.
Oh no, Tuesday is gray and Wednesday too. That's my story and I'm sticking with it.
You're wrong. All of you.
Every day is purple.
But like Monday's red. Monday is very solidly red. I do not understand. If you don't think Monday's red, I do not understand you. because it's so, and I didn't even realize this was like such a thing in my head until somebody tried saying different. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, no, Monday is red. Like, what are you talking about? Monday is red. I'll go down with this ship.
Everyone seems to be agreeing that Monday is red.
I mean,
I disagree, but
I
I'm also not going to
definitely-
argue it.
I definitely do not have synesthesia. Maybe because warm water is smooth and cold water is smooth and warm water is prickly. But that's like the only thing I can think of that I associate a sense being something else.
That seems to be more getting into Kiki and Booba.
What is that?
The linguistic thing. Let me find the image.
Basically, some to the tune of all across the world when presented with like Kiki and Booba as a word, different cultures would all associate Kiki as a more spiky kind of word and Booba as a more rounded one. And very similar words and terms like that, but there is like a commonality between all cultures.
That's funny because
And it applies to, like, basically every word you can think of, one way or another. And then it has gone on to become more of a meme that anything can be one of those. And it kind of fits. All languages and cultures talk to pets in the pet voice.
yeah.
Really?
Do we then also universally talk to babies in the baby voice? Like it's the same thing, right?
I feel like questions are going on here that could be solved by prompting the color of blank, the color of silence, the color of English.
I don't trust Midjourney. Accurate.
We'll give you at least a conceptual idea.
I just prompted the color of cat boys. Orange.
Orange, you say?
Mostly. I see most orange in all four of the grids.
Math is red, science was green, blue was English.
Green and sparkly. You missed that part. Oh, I don't think you're reading.
I was reading what it's on. I was saying.
So because math and Monday suck, it's red bed.
Although it depends on what kind of what kind of science. Uh-oh, something's wrong.
I'm on it. Don't worry about it.
All right. I got the ping of doom.
Oh no.
I'm watching a K-drama right now with a math teacher. That's all I got. That's all. I just wanted you talking about math. I wanted to contribute. You know, actually, it made me think about it because I noticed in the K-drama, obviously, that they were doing, when they were doing math, they were using like A, B, C, like Latin alphabet characters. And I started Googling that because I thought that was super interesting. Like, why? Like, you'd think that other languages with non-Latin alphabets, especially Asian countries where they have such a long history that I'm sure includes math. I'm not a math person. I don't know the history of math, but I'm sure it has to be in there because, you know, China has such a long and rich history. I still don't know that. I don't know the exact answer, but I would really like to. Like, why does the whole world seem to use the same math? Why don't we have different kinds of math for different languages?
I mean, have you seen the way numbers are constructed in different languages?
A little bit.
They can get
They're all
pretty
equal.
different, like
Yeah.
French and German.
What do you mean German?
What?
What do you mean German?
Wait,
German has some weird ones. if I
What are you
remember correctly.
talking about? I did not. I got to second grade.
wait. What are your German numbers, AC?
What are German numbers? What are you talking like this?
Wait.
What?
The
No,
actual
German
words for
numbers.
numbers.
The words for numbers, sure, but not the actual numbers themselves. And German uses the Latin alphabet with some weird extra characters, and umlauts. Yeah, they do the thing where they're like the literal English translation for 21 would be 1 and 20. Like, it just put it all together. It's 21. Like, the und is an and. Like, it's so long for no reason. But that's not necessarily what I mean, because I mean, like, when you're doing algebra or something, right? And you have like A equals B squared or something like that. They in Korea, in China, in Japan, all these, in Russia even, they do A equals B squared. They don't have their own characters. They use the Latin alphabet. And I thought that was so interesting because why? Like, you'd think they would have their own systems.
They do. It's just for more complex mathematics, Arabic numerals are easier.
Arabic numerals or Latin?
Arabic numerals is what we use.
We do.
Yeah.
But then again, is it about the number or is it about the value?
Oh my god. All right, I'm out. Oh, I didn't know that 1, 2, 3, 4, as I know it, is an Arabic numeral. Interesting. I didn't know that. Cool.
The Latin numbers is the I's and the IVs and the X's.
Oh, yeah, that. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. But I mean, like, even Latin in the actual math itself, like algebra is what I mean. Because they'd be like y equals x, and I'm like, why are you using y?
That's just different math that I also never got, and yeah,
It's
just a
a
bigger
standardization,
question.
modern standardization.
Well, I got that far, but like, I want to know what the history of that is. What led to that decision? Did they not have their own system for this beforehand?
Being able to communicate.
Well, yeah, but
is what
like,
led to that decision.
yeah, but maybe I'm not articulating this right. This is Audio Worm speaking for Tina. Hi, sorry. He has a PhD in physics and wants to talk about maths. Hell yeah. Do it.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, so every culture before contact with post mathematic revolution of Arabic and India had their own mathematical systems. Like you look at Mayan systems and how they counted because they used base 60. You can look at trying to do maths in Latin and how it's absolute nightmare because you don't have a base system. But they developed these like clever tricks for doing it. The Greeks had a whole system of using solely geometry to solve like every problem possible because they didn't have modern mathematics approaches. Arabic and then Indian scholars developed the system we have now, which is why you may notice numbers are actually backwards in terms of importance because they're written in Arabic. You might think that numbers would read left to right from smallest to biggest, which is what they do in Arabic, but we took the whole system and reversed it and we changed the whole way our brain works. But what happened is they developed algebra, they developed all these things of al come from Arabic mathematicians. Indian mathematicians invented zero, well, they formalized zero. So then you got zero came out of Indian mathematicians, and then it made itself to Europe during the Renaissance. And then Europeans invented the equal sign. They invented a bunch of more formalized mathematics. And then once that spread around the world through mixtures of colonization, exchanges of information, other cultures picked up the standardized way of doing it. Firstly, to communicate with each other about it, and secondly, because it works. And that's the fundamental thing. These systems, mathematics is both discovered and invented, and the highly formalized way in which mathematics is done is built upon rigorous proofs upon proofs upon proofs. So to interact mathematically with the mathematical world, you have to integrate your own thinking and systems into the already formalized proofs. Therefore, that's why all yeah?
So are you saying that, like, algebra, for example, was not, like, China did not have their own algebra before?
Sorry.
No, I'd go for it.
Yeah, they might have had equivalencies to it, because algebra, really all algebra is taking how do you solve an equation when you have like a thing you want to know, but the thing is already in the equation in some way. Like, you can just rearrange it out to be like equals to, but you keep it in there so you can like do more complicated maths with it. They might have their own systems and processes, but because once like all of the Eurasian content to the west of like the Himalayas is using one system, and they're also using it to like build weapons of war, you kind of then pick up their system as like a sign of it being vaguely effective. Also, taxes is a pretty useful reason why a lot of these countries pick up mathematics that the West did, because taxes have got really easy to do under their systems. So basically just like kind of mixture of colonial spread that makes these things come relevant. And then because you start introducing a standardized base 10, and then everything is done through base 10 and all mathematics is built around base 10. Obviously now we have binary calculations. Then the rest of the world just starts mimicking and copying it. Like you'll find in places, like I think in China, they still teach like a different way of counting, but it's the same way of counting. It's just using an older way that more fits their language. But when you get to actual maths, you just switch to the Arabic approach because it's the one that everyone does.
That's so interesting. Because I thought, I don't know the exact history. It's been a while, but I know like there were a lot of Asian countries that were very resistant to Western colonization. So that just was surprising to me to learn about. Wow, this is so cool. Can you tell us more about math?
Yeah, like what? Well, I think because there was one of the things where like I know it was a joke comment someone said earlier, like it's not the number, it's the value, and I want to like pull my hair out because the proof that like numbers equal the numbers they are is like a battle that mathematicians have been dealing with for like 300, 400 years, trying to formalize like why does 1 + 1 = 2? Is 1.999 reoccurring equal to 2? What equal to 2? Like these like frustratingly basic mathematical problems that seem intuitive have to be highly formalized in mathematics to be shown to be true. So then you get like pages and pages and pages of proofs to show quite basic things. We can prove it. It's called set theory Mabus. It's developed by a bunch of mathematicians like less than 100 years ago. The proofs are really fun. They're really awful, but they're kind of a good long explanation of how you have to formalize mathematics to like the basis level to get to those sort of things.
I've seen some good YouTube videos on it. Interesting visualization of it.
Yeah, and also maths is great. So one of the interesting, this is my last maths thing, and then if anyone has a question, I'll add it. But mathematicians invented matrices like 150 years ago, I think, just kind of as fun because they thought it was interesting to like build matrices to like kind of square grids of numbers. And they built all these like rules about doing mathematics with them. They found uses in physics using them for what's called eigenvectors and eigenvalues, which is like degeneracy of like matrices. And then computers turned up and they were like, the best way to do computer programming is to use these matrices. So suddenly they became super important. So every computer scientist student has to learn how to use matrices, even though all of them hate it, because a bunch of mathematicians 150 years ago kind of got bored and started playing around trying to solve other problems. So yeah, I think I killed the conversation, but I had fun.
No, I was waiting for you to continue. This is really interesting.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed that.
Video explanation in chat.
Yeah,
So
that looks like set theory.
I'm so bad at math, like I can't. I agree. Yeah. Like I have such a hard time wrapping my head around actual math, but like learning about the story of math is so fascinating.
I think one of the really problematic things that emerges in maths education, maths pedagogy, is that people who do mathematics degrees and then become mathematics teachers have built so many intuitive systems for doing maths that when we then try and teach people how to do maths, it becomes very difficult. So like you can teach calculus to like 7-8-year-olds. I did it as part of a charity in the UK. But you have to like strip it back to how you intuit calculus and then go from that intuition to show the kids proofs. While when you are not good at maths and things don't make sense, things like negative numbers can instantly become very confusing. Like how can you have a non-thing when if you just view it as like an aspect of a number line, then it's very simple. So yeah, I think maths is interesting. And also antimatter is 100% real. Like I worked with it, I trapped it, Mavis. It's a very real thing. I have pictures of antimatter on my laptop from when I was working with it.
Just for context, he did his PhD at CERN in the antimatter factory. So if there's antimatter questions, he is very educated to answer those. Great.
Hey, I'm all for turning this into a random education event by people who know what they're talking about. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. More.
Okay, so for antimatter, so for context, yes, so the place I worked in CERN was called the Antimatter Factory because, as far as we know, it has the highest density of antimatter in the known universe. Because we make it, and you don't make a lot of antimatter, then we trap it as well. But yeah, antimatter is just an inverted particle of the normal matter. So you have like your atom is made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. If you reverse the charge of the individual component, it becomes antimatter. So an antiproton has a negative charge, an anti-electron, which we call a positron, has a positive charge, and an anti-neutron is also neutral, but it's because its quarks are reversed in their thing. So rather than up and down, they're anti-up and anti-down. Antimatter is amazing because the guy called Paul Dirac was fiddling around with numbers and realized that you can get solutions for equations that have negative mass. So we kind of just guessed maybe there's antiparticles, and then like a year later, someone found them experimentally, which was pretty impressive in terms of turnaround from theory to experiment. And then since we found them, we've always been curious why we don't find them everywhere else. Because once we realized why they existed, all of our equations in physics said that the universe should have an equal amount of matter and antimatter. At the very beginning of the universe, we think this was true because of basically our understanding of how the early universe goes on, and a lot of inflationary physics and the standard model of physics itself kind of says the same thing is true. But obviously, we don't see a lot of antimatter in the universe. We know the antimatter is not just out anywhere in the next 25 billion years around us, because you would see evidence of annihilations of specific energies happening at these like barriers between antimatter and matter. So we know it's not out there just floating around. So what we instead think is that there was 3 conditions that happened at the beginning of the universe that caused antimatter to not appear and prosper at the same rate as matter, which are called the Sakharov conditions, named after a Russian guy who refused to write any papers in English, makes it very hard to translate his work. But basically, there is some baryon non-conformance of baryon number in a reaction, which is not allowed under the standard model of physics. And then there is some condition which allows the thermodynamics to be broken, which can actually happen at bubble barrier conditions. So we have evidence for all the reasons why they could not exist, but none of them account for the scale of the lack of antimatter missing. What scale of missing. So we're trying to work out why. And what I was doing was we're trying to measure. So basically, what we're looking for antimatter is it doesn't exist in the numbers that it should exist. That's a weird reason why it should exist. So there must be something going on. There's two possible explanations. Either the universe doesn't like antimatter, or antimatter doesn't follow the standard model of physics. If the universe doesn't like antimatter, then it inherently decays and is not stable, which explains why we don't see it in other ways, which we have small evidences of, but not great evidences of. And the second thing is that if it doesn't behave like the standard model, then we can start to say the standard model itself is wrong, which the standard model is the most accurate equation ever built by physicists that explains 36,000 different variables. But if it's wrong, then we can start to do new physics. And one of the things I was looking at was we were measuring the gravitational attraction of antimatter on Earth.
Basically, does antimatter go down?
Yeah, asking if antimatter floats or if it falls normally. And if it falls normally, then we've solved another problem, that it's just behaves like matter. And if it goes upwards, then we have discovered the most monumental discovery in, 30, 40 years of physics. So yeah, that's what I was doing in my PhD.
Can we make an antimatter bomb, someone asked?
Yes, you can, but we don't have enough antimatter, and it's very expensive to create antimatter at the moment. Such that I think it's like trillions of dollars per microgram. But yeah, it would also behave very weirdly because a lot of the interactions, the annihilation between matter and antimatter is the radiation given off, which is pretty safe under normal conditions, but obviously that density would become a bit like a neutron bomb, which is this thing people talk about, which is meant to be like the city clearer. It's a bomb that mostly just kills biological stuff rather than physical structures.
Someone asked, can you build an antimatter bouncy ball?
Yes, this is actually a very good question. So I worked in a multidisciplinary, multi-university group, which means that we had physicists from all around the world and all different disciplines. And in our group were these two genuinely crazy Russian physicists who their plan was that after we made an antimatter atom and dropped it, they wanted to measure the quantum bounce at the point where it hits the base of the chamber, because they wanted to measure the quantum gravity states of antimatter in a matter gravitational field. So they're basically looking at the quantum scale of bouncing, which is a crazy idea that I have not enough understanding of the theoretical nature of quantum gravity to respond to.
Are all electrons the same electron?
Probably not. It's a good thought experiment and a good bit of mathematics.
What would that mean?
It's Feynman's interpretation of Feynman and someone else postulated that there is only one electron. It's just going backwards and forwards in time, which you can get out of various quantum mechanical equations. But I don't like it.
Time travel is real.
Well, it means time is within the dimension in which things move backwards and forwards along, but not consciousness.
Why not consciousness?
Just consciousness is a human state that exists outside of the core rules of quantum mechanics.
Physics don't explain that.
Yeah. Also, Maber's asked about could antimatter behave differently gravitationally? So yes, we don't know. The best model is that it doesn't do anything different. The other model is that antimatter clusters with antimatter but rejects matter, which may have pushed it away to the edge of the universe, which will explain why we don't see it. And then the most interesting one was invented by a French guy whose name I don't remember off the top of my head, but his idea is called the chaser, which is that antimatter is repellent gravitationally to matter, but matter is attracted gravitationally to antimatter. So it would basically chase itself around the universe, as one is trying to constantly run away, the other one is constantly trying to catch up to it.
Wait, that wasn't a question. Wait. How does antimatter act in a vacuum?
If it's depends what the antimatter particle is, but it kind of just chills out most of the time.
Same.
Unless antimatter can only annihilate with the equivalent particle. So electron can't annihilate with protons. Anti-electrons can't annihilate with protons. There has to be anti-electron to positron or anti-proton to proton. Obviously, there's quarks, makes things complicated, blah blah blah. But in most of the time, it just chills out. And there's like equations for how long it will last before decaying or running into something, and so on and so forth.
Does radioactive antimatter exist?
Theoretically, it would, but you need an atom that's big enough to be radioactive. So it needs to have the right number of protons and neutrons to be a radioactive element. But one form of radiation that you do see is beta plus radiation, which is when a matter atom spits out a positron to like balance out its quantum numbers to form into a more stable atomic nuclear shell. And that just spits out antimatter. Your banana does this. Your banana spits out positrons. Your banana too. Yeah. Beta plus. I think it's from sodium. You get beta plus.
Rubber duck. Do you want potassium?
Sorry, Fleckle?
Do you mean potassium?
Yeah, polypotassium. What's sodium-22 give out?
I only know that because my meds that I'm taking now, they're like, don't eat potassium-rich foods. Don't eat bananas. So that's weirdly related.
Yeah, then maybe it's the potassium chain. I know we used sodium-22 was because obviously you want to make antimatter like effectively, which is what you do by smashing things into each other. But if you're being lazy, you just buy like a block of like sodium and it spits out enough that you can do some stuff. Big Pharma asked about black holes versus antimatter. That's actually the origin of Stephen Hawking's Hawking radiation, which is an explanation for why black holes radiate out energy and eventually lose their mass, which is the idea that in the universe, out of the background energy of the universe, you get matter-antimatter particle pairs that are spawned out of the energy of the universe, and then they annihilate, reproducing the energy of the universe in the form of photons. And his idea was if at the boundary between the event horizon where things can't escape and where things can, if an antimatter-matter particle pair formed at that boundary and one was spat into space and one was swallowed by the black hole, then the black hole now owes a debt of energy to the universe and therefore loses energy itself to like make up for the fact that it's stolen energy from the universe. Does time interact normal with antimatter or backwards? So two answers to that question. Generally, mathematics says that it acts normally to time. However, if you take any physics equation that talks about particle interactions and reverse the time direction, you just swap all the particles for antiparticles or antiparticles for particles, and the equation behaves 100% correctly. And it has to behave correctly, otherwise it doesn't obey the Feynman diagram rules. I was not part of the ritual, but I know someone who was in the ritual. They all got bollocked so hard for doing that, but the CERN will never admit that it knows who it was because of all the conspiracy theorists. So
Also, Bob asked, did you use AI for your thesis?
Yeah, but back then we didn't call it AI. Back then we called it machine learning. We used evolutionary algorithms to build more and more efficient beam focusing systems. So basically, just there's a name for it. There's probably a name for the algorithm. But yeah, we'd run the model, and then it would have children based on different electrode strengths, and then whichever child was more successful had more children. It's that algorithm. I don't know the name of it, but that's what we used. We wrote it by hand, so it was not done in an easy way. Can antimatter behave in a social environment like an art gallery gala? If you have the antimatter in a vacuum suspended by magnets or electrodes, so therefore it's not interacting with any matter or anything like that, it's pretty stable. So there's a guy called Steve, who's a British guy who's 34, who holds the world record for the longest storage of antimatter. It's about 10, 15 minutes, I think, at the time. Yeah, there's a guy called Steve. He's British. He's got long hair. yeah, he's just a dude, and he holds the world record because he worked at Alpha. Which Alpha is the experiment that first magnetically constrained and held an anti-hydrogen atom, and then did spectroscopy on it. So. So Mavis asked about gravity backwards, time backwards thing. So all those equations that you can flip time and make antiparticles into particles back and forth, gravity's not in those equations. Gravity doesn't behave properly. I can't share the image of Intermath at the moment because I'm holding Tina's laptop, which is making it. Let's go Google something 1 second.
Can you answer what would happen if you were hit by an antimatter particle real quick?
So what happened? It depends what antimatter particle. It depends how fast it was going. I think that's more important. So most of the thing wouldn't really do much. If it was that high enough...
Would it just be the same as normal matter hitting you then?
No, because normal matter hitting you doesn't annihilate and cause a small amount of radiation to be given off.
Well, it's enough speed.
For the high enough speeds, it does cause a lot of radiation. There's a famous Russian guy who accidentally stuck his head in a particle accelerator, and it went through like his cheek into the back of his head. And he got a big old hole in his head from basically a proton beam running through. That's what antimatter at high speed would basically be. Didn't turn into Dr. Manhattan. He didn't get a big blue penis. He just got kind of a worrying dose of radiation.
How do you accidentally put your head in a particle accelerator?
Soviet safety standards and not realizing it was on when he was doing maintenance.
Fair enough.
It's a pretty straight answer there.
Happy to ask a question. I'm just Googling the...
Yeah, so the mystery was maths all along.
Yeah.
What made you go down this rabbit hole of maths? Like what started your interest in this, I guess? Of getting into medical school.
Oh no, the very beginning was like that was why I did physics. The very beginning, and they probably have an undiagnosed autistic dad who taught me to count from when I was like 2 or 3, because he likes math. So yeah, that's where like I used to count change as a kid, like faster than cashiers and stuff. So like when I was very, very young, I got into math, and I was always told like maths is easy, so I just assumed maths was simple as well.
Maths was easy? Oh boy.
But if you don't have any memory of like learning to count, but you did it before you have like any concept of memories being formed, then maths always seemed very simple.
I mean, you say that, but I'm not sure that that's true. I don't think you might just have a huge head.
I like numbers.
Huge brain. Bulging.
You know, Irish noggin.
Interesting. Yeah, so I found this guy just like 7 years ago at this point, hanging out in a voice channel in some tiny Discord server. And obviously, I wanted to hear about maths forever.
You adopted a math guy. Good on you.
Yeah, thank you.
Someone need.
I'm quite proud. That's cute. He's barely got through papers looking for the picture, by the way.
Yeah, my thesis wouldn't open. Big.
Manically trying to find the picture. Sorry,
Yeah.
Knuckles, carry on.
I was not. I did not have anything else. I was asking if he did long distance.
We did. So he was actually in Paris at the time because he was at the university there for the for the first part, and so I was a year in Paris, and then He went to CERN for a year where he was homeless. Fun side fact.
If you want to listen to a podcast where I talk about bitch about it, that's the thing I can also
I was about
tell
to
people.
say. Sorry, I talked over you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Fernando.
I was gonna say, like, I was about to say, like, the whole Paris thing, like, especially from an American's point of view, that's, oh, it sounds so romantic. And then you said the homeless part, and I was like, well, no, the homeless part was later. That was when he was at CERN in Switzerland. But yeah, so we did long distance for 2-3 years, and then he moved to Austria, and then we moved to the Netherlands together because, yeah, why not? But yeah, we met on Discord, which is very fun. You like it, her? In the Netherlands? Yes. Nice.
We're gonna have coffee hopefully soon. I hope so. How's your house looking? It's unpainted still.
I can help paint.
That is actually not a bad idea. I will suggest it.
Can we teach any child to be smart if we start with science stuff in kindergarten? I think that some people, and by people, kids, are more apt to certain things than others. Like, as a child, it was so difficult for me to wrap my head around numbers and maths, and, you know, even just like a lot of kids, they'd memorize the multiplication table, and that was difficult for me because I guess I could have memorized it, but even then, like, I was like trying to do the actual math in my head that quick was difficult for child me. Whereas, like, I was very artistic and very creative, so I don't know, like, I think it depends. Like, it also depends on, like, what your definition of smart is, because a lot of people will say that smartness revolves around knowing science or being able to learn science and math quickly. But I think, personally, I think being smart, there's many different ways to be smart and to be intelligent. And some of those intelligence don't revolve around math at all. So I guess it just depends on that.
But at the same time, a lot of that understanding can come down to how it's taught. Like rote memorization versus practical understanding.
That too. But I don't know, because I have sat down multiple times and I've tried to learn the very basics of programming. And some people kind of side-eye me when I say this, but I think programming is very similar to math. You're like, no, it's not math. I'm like, no, but like the logic of it is very similar, because you kind of have to understand all the parts of it. And then I remember, like, I've looked at many different things, and there was one guy who, it was like everybody was ranting and raving, like, oh, like, I didn't understand this before, and, you know, now I get it. Like, this guy is like the best one, and like breaks it down in like the absolute, like, most basic way. And I sat there for hours trying to understand what the hell an array is, and I could not wrap my head around it. Like, my brain just didn't like it, you know? I'm smart in a lot of different ways, but I'm, you know, if that's what you're counting as intelligence, then you know.
Because I did at my old job a lot of data science, a lot of programming data science. And my PhD, I did a lot of simulation building and model building with programming. And this one, I just do basically Python data analysis. It's not very complicated. However, like, for someone who's very good at maths, programming doesn't click in the same way that it does for other people. And I think it's just because I just want to do the math. I don't really care about the systems of the software, the language is like trying to get me to follow, like asking me to declare variables or build classes and all that stuff. Like, my brain doesn't care about it. I can't be made to care about it. I just do the raw math. So like, Tina's seen a lot of my codes, and like, it's just absolute shite because I just skip to the like brute force the maths rather than any like good behavior of programming. So I think it's a different approach, and I can understand why some people would vibe with it and some people just bounce off of it. So yeah.
Yeah, and to bring this full circle, I wonder how much of this is related to how you think as well. You know, like I have a I have an extremely vivid imagination, and also I have ADHD. I think I'm on the spectrum. I don't know if that matters, but like I tend to distinguish patterns and a lot of like more emotional kind of stuff than like math kind of stuff. But like I can see images in my head, you know, that can translate into like world building and all this other stuff. But like, I don't know, someone who's like really insanely good at doing math in their head, what is their brain like? How does that function? Is it different? Is that related?
Well, it's an interesting thing. So I actually have a pretty solid visual imagination, but one of the things when we try to help, when we try to, so context, when I was at university, I worked for a charity teaching kids in underrepresented areas mathematics. And like, one of the things we were like focusing on was like how to convert like what people who are very good at maths do to like universal foolproof approaches to mathematics. And one of the very, very hard things is kids who are good at maths and people who are good at maths as adults don't often really know why they can do the maths they can do. Like some of it is like just rote memorization. Like you learn, people who are young like the times table, like they just like it as a concept. So they just like end up learning all the from 1 through to like maybe 13 or 14. They just know off the top of their head, and therefore they can use that in all their mathematics afterwards. And then other concepts like calculus is kind of weird, especially when you do all the like derivations of how it's emerged and how it was developed. But like for many people, it's quite simple once you like start putting it into like terms they understand or terms they can visualize. And for whatever reason, my brain has always been quite good at like reducing everything to the mathematical components that make it up. Like everything is effectively a function or is a rate of change. There's like some sort of behavior going on that you can just keep adding complexity to make it function correctly. So why my brain can do that? There's also no evolutionary pressure for my brain to do that. So where it comes from, who the hell knows?
And I've noticed that too. I ask people who are good at math, like, oh, how do you do this in your head? And they're like, I don't know. I just do it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How?
And there's also like it's also there's a few times when like you'll do something in your head all the time, and then someone outside of your field asks you like to like talk about the scale it happens in. So like I have all these calculations that I can rattle off. Like if I've got a whiteboard for like the interactions between particles. And the time scale it happens on is like 10 to the minus like 11 of a second. So it's effectively instantaneous. Yeah, we've got the calculations for it, like, and that kind of breaks your brain, even if you're really good at understanding what's going on, just like to think about what that actually means in the real world itself.
But Flackle, you're like a designer with graphic design and animations and stuff, and like what you do is so specialized in a similar way, you know, like you will see that something looks good or why it doesn't look good in the way a lot of people don't, which is why they pay you. Hell yeah, they do. Right. So I think it's similar to that, no? Like just having an intuition or feeling for how things work together. Just, yeah, different abstractions. It's just crazy to think about, especially for math. Because like, from when I do math in my head, and I'm better at it now, but, you know, as a kid, if I were to do like 18 plus 17, I'd have to do like, okay, 10 plus 10, 5 plus 5, 3 plus 2, and then add all those parts. And that's why I struggled, I think, with, you know, like algebra or a lot of other higher concept math too, because it's like I have to like understand every single part of stuff that's going on. I can't just have that snap. Oh, I got it. Like I have to like build it in my head. And that's a lot of parts to keep track of, right?
Which is very good in formal mathematics, in proof mathematics, being able to snap everything apart. Quite good.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everybody?
Having a voice.
You have two voices.
Yes. You've split like an atom. So how's the afternoon going? I just saw that people were on stage, and I wanted to come up and say hi and you know, maybe do a little prompt battle. If you guys wanted to. Is AC still here?
Yep, I'm here. I was just muted.
Oh. So I was made aware that Peter wasn't going to be here today, and AC asked if I wanted to do some prompt battles with y'all. Do you guys want to do that?
That sounds fun. I actually, not to leave right as you start this, but I'm gonna head out. 'Cause I just got pinged at my day job, so you guys have fun with that. That sounds nice.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great time at work. And I'll talk to you later.
You too, right now. Bye.
Bye-bye. AC?
All right, so I see your streaming, thank you, but I can't actually see anything. It's just loading. It's doing that for everyone else.
It's just a black screen for me, actually.
See.
That's working for me.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll stop it and start it again just for everybody else in case it helps somehow.
Maybe it takes a little while longer to load because there's like a few more viewers on in.
That's possible. However, in lieu of the conversation that everyone was having and the fact that I don't have a first person to prompt this week, I was thinking I could do dealer's choice for once in my life and give you guys a prompt to use. Anybody in this room has never played prompt battles. I'm going to explain how. What we're going to do is we have 10 minutes to prompt and 2 minutes to post and then 2 minutes to vote. And then whoever wins that vote chooses the next prompt. We don't have a starting person today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this thing in the chat. I'd like you all to use this URL in your prompt. You can talk about antimatter too while we do this, but this is also supposed to be, I don't know if it is or not because I never got a picture, but I Googled antimatter and this is what I got. Is this antimatter?
That is not antimatter, but it's a very cool picture.
Okay, can you give me a picture of antimatter? Because I want to prompt antimatter.
There isn't. There's one earlier, but it shows you that antimatter's kind of crap to take pictures of, but you still can do it.
Oh,
so yeah. Earlier in the chat, I posted one, but it's like a scientific picture. So
okay.
I think Tina's just retagged where it was. So
well, that is a very cool picture of not antimatter. Sorry, I was working and I didn't have a lot of time to ask questions and blah, blah.
Don't worry.
Doesn't antimatter? Would you say that it antimatters? Okay, so do we have that picture or no? Should we use this one? Which one do you want to do? Thank you, Celeste. Celeste put it in the chat. If you don't know me, you will find out that I'm a very, very awkward young lady who hosts prompt battles every Sunday. These are the rules, just for reference. And we prompt in, we can't prompt in VC create, but we can put our images in there afterwards, right? Or can people put images in here?
You can prompt in VC create. VC text can only be imaged by guides and mods.
Okay.
I was thinking that we could have this as like a limited one where we could like maybe anonymize the submissions. and just have it be people on stage.
Ooh. Okay. You're gonna have to tell me how that goes because I'm not ready for it. But
It'll be mostly the same overall format.
okay,
But,
great.
So I will allow people to raise their hands and get, say, 4 or 5 people up here. Anyone want
do you
to
wanna
pop battle? Feel free to raise your hand. I just enabled it. One.
But I know there's a lot of people in this room who like playing prompt battles. Let's play it on stage. You guys talk all the time. How I'm never going to convince people to let us go longer if you guys don't play on stage. Am I compelling? I'm trying to be compelling.
I mean, we had so many people up here, and then they just all decided to leave for some reason.
What a bunch of weenies.
Too afraid to prompt, I guess.
Chickens. Want the Marty McFly response. Did you call me? There. I'll play.
Okay. All right. Got
Game now speak.
people up here.
Come here, Bob.
Anyone else?
There is Gallifrey. Is she not here?
She was here.
She better get in here. Gallifrey, because she would play. Please get out of my way.
Hey, Kinky.
Hello, Celeste.
How are you?
I'm very good. Oh, I'm using the wrong keyboard. That's why. So,
Arena's still just loading for me.
Yeah, for me too.
you can't see it?
No, nothing. So black.
Oh. Can anybody see it? How are we gonna do this? Maybe I will stop and start again. You know what? I'm gonna refresh. I'll be right back.
Sounds
I'll get fixed by restarting.
That's the joys of Discord.
Speak on the stage. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect.
I think 4 people is decent.
Yeah, I think we could all do this, honestly.
Yeah.
So let's put the picture in the chat. We can grab that and throw it in our prompt and go. There's 10 minutes on the clock. Starts.
And when you're done, just send the final image to me and I will post them all at once and people can vote on that. It's
So
anonymous.
get up here, Galfrey. We need you.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, Dee was helping me fix my splitter. When they updated to 2024, I simply forgot to move one of the pieces over there.
All right. Let's put an image in the chat. Of what we think is it's antimatter, right? And we're going to use this in our prompt. And we're doing this. We just started the timer. We're at 9 minutes now. I haven't started. I was trying to goad people to come up. I was like, come on, how are we going to convince people that we need more time if you guys won't come up here? We do need more time, by the way. Just let you know.
Discord seems to hate your video.
Yeah, it just does not want to go.
Oh,
But as long as
no.
we have the time being tracked, that's fine.
Okay. So we're at 8 minutes and 32 seconds.
Okay.
So the only parameter is we have to use that image.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Wanna get some weird galaxies.
This is where we should be having more talks about antimatter.
Good idea.
Or whatever we want to talk about, because this game is a social game. Generally, when we play it on weekends, nobody ever shuts up, and it's awesome.
The one thing about this one,
Do we have a timer?
We're at
Kinky has
6 minutes and 20 seconds. Unfortunately, for some reason, it's not showing up on the screen. I don't think I'm powerful enough.
Mount Spear's timer is beautiful.
I know, I wish I could show it to you all.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do what it can.
We are all more or less in fear of this. And you could get some cheesy galaxies out of this one.
I just told it that it asked me for feedback on how the stream was, and I said, frown.
Not happy.
Round. Oh.
Right, guys, we're at the halfway point in this prompt. It is 5 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. You see the stream now because I'm doing it again.
I will double check.
The good news is Dee figured out the problem with the splitter, so
Oh, nice.
stopped panicking.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing.
Not panicking is a good thing. It was my own fault for leaving it for weeks without doing it. But
That's not true. But I'm glad you got it sorted. Ew. My God, it's been so long since I actually played.
yay!
And to see what you were post. Yeah, we won't find out.
You'll find out. Tell you.
You're getting so many good ones with this.
Yeah, these are coming out awesome.
They are. I'm gonna have to revisit this one because there's so much good stuff coming out of it.
Oh, for anyone who's around on Sundays and not doing anything, we do this every Sunday in the voice chats. There will be an announcement going up to remind you shortly, either today or tomorrow, whenever AC puts it up. And we'd love to have you. It's really fun.
Can confirm.
I could also confirm.
All right, my prompt. Send that over. We have 3 minutes and 10 seconds if we guys still can't see it.
I still can't see it, Kinky. It's just black for me.
That's sad.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
I think we all know what Discord is like.
Anybody who wants to come up and play is still welcome to for the next round. So just let us know. Shoot, where'd I put the picture I wanted?
So when the time's done, we send our choice image to AC.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Alrighty.
And ideally edit the file name so I don't have to do that when posting it.
We did.
It's fine.
What do you want me to edit it to?
Shrug. Doesn't matter as long as it doesn't have your
Shrug. Shrug. SHRUG.
You're at 1 minute and 40 seconds. I'm interested to see how AC makes this work because I have all the faith in him in the world. But just not sure how it's going to happen. Discord timestamp for a countdown. Oh, that's true, Rock. That'd be great. We should do that. How do we do that?
You were. I didn't see what that was supposed to be.
No, Discord. There's a Discord timestamp that we could use for the countdown. 58 seconds on the clock.
A second. I have so many awesome ones, so it's gonna be hard to pick.
Well, we have voting time to show our leftovers somehow.
You're true.
God, I can have so many leftovers.
How are we gonna do that though?
I think have to amend it a bit to be after voting.
Yeah.
This is the stage version of prompt battles.
Yeah. This is far more organized, I must say.
It's definitely quieter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have actual anticipation right now, you guys. How do we do that? Oh, he's doing it. No, he's not. He is, but all right, time's up. Usually when we play, we put this little thing up here, this little beauty. It says 2 minutes to post, and then we all post like mad in the chat and put up our images for which people vote.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. But I don't think AC's gonna need 2 minutes to put up our posts.
You will. If we don't change the names.
Just need to copy and paste.
So I'll let him tell us when he's done.
I mean, you'll see when it's done. It's all going up in one post.
Is it going in VC text or VC create?
VC text.
Oh, VC text. I see it.
Do you just want the links or do you want the actual image itself?
The actual image.
Look at that Discord timestamp. Thanks, Rock. That is cool.
The only thing with the Discord timestamp in the actual game that we play,
oh yeah,
is that it scrolls up the screen and no one can ever see it.
Right. And it's so small nobody would look at it. We have to, even with these giant images, we have to repeat ourselves.
It's usually by where the app's the timer, but
But as another shameless plug for our game, that's because people are talking in the chat because they don't actually have to speak with their voices to play.
Correct.
If they're shy. We have people in the chat talking, and we have people on stage talking, or not on stage, but just doing the voice chat thing, and it's neat. It's a good time. Oh, I'm gonna try to duplicate my window so I can see both the what he needs to know this stuff.
Is it like posting the bot is down status message, and member support just disappears immediately. When gifts.
Oh god, yeah. When the panic breaks out.
Yeah.
The same reaction every time.
All right. Processing. Now we'll vote with 1 through 6.
As though it's a quad, right? What would it be called when it's 6 instead of 4?
Sextet.
Sextet.
Do we vote?
You're gonna have sextets in the future?
Do you want us to vote too?
Yes, vote with the emoji reactions.
Ah.
Right. Just like with the micro polls.
Ooh, fun to see the votes rolling in.
Considering there's over 100 of us here.
Much easier to tally.
Isn't it just? Yeah. Definitely much easier.
Doesn't work so well if you have 15 images coming in.
Oh no. I kicked myself up.
Why do you do it?
20 seconds vote. Why do I do it? I don't know. I'm just too clumsy. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it looks like the winner
is a draw.
Is it?
Yes.
It is.
Between 4 and 6.
4 and 6.
Yes.
Who are those winners?
Who are those winners? Feel free to reveal yourself since you know what you made.
Down.
I'm number 4.
Calibrate. Oh. So,
who's number 8?
Event?
No,
or who's number 6? Sorry, who's number?
Number 8.
Number 6. Number 6.
Okay.
We need number 6. Make yourself known.
It is me. The author with no name.
I know who it is, Mosby.
All right. So, first round is a tie.
What do we do in this event, you ask? Oh, I can tell you. You have them both choose a prompt together, which is the funniest thing ever. Or funnest thing ever. Sometimes funny, but always fun. And if anybody wants to join this round, feel free to let us know. Maybe people, what do you think about maybe people that don't want to join the stage sending you an image, AC?
That would make it much more difficult.
Okay, all right. We'll think about this harder for the next time something happens and I wind up on the stage.
Doing it as a stage event, I'd like to keep it with just people on stage.
Okay.
More like a game show, you know?
Yeah, I'm just thinking if you end up with over 100 people sending you images all at the same time.
Yeah, I would.
Ideal.
I know, and you have to like gather them up from.
Yeah.
His Discord has an image limit.
Yeah, you can only post 10 at a time.
Yeah. You're right, Dee, I know. All right. I'm not good enough to be a robot.
What's
Sad robot.
failure?
All right. We're just waiting on these two to formulate their two words. Oh, crystal cheese vibrant. Oscar loves crystal cheese.
Whoa, that's going to be good.
Crystal cheese.
Nice. I'm ready. And if anybody wanted to join the stage, now's the time before I start the timer. You have 1 minute. Not really, not a whole minute. Just raise your hand. Big Pharma wants to join. Did you raise your hand on the thingy? We want to invite you up.
If you do want to do that, it's at the bottom. They got it.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to do this in our own bots, and then we drag it over to AC when we're done with our prompt. We don't have to wait the whole 10 minutes, okay? Just send it on over to him.
Sounds good.
AC.
Hand raise is disabled. Oh.
Yeah, I'm just going to point that out. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, or if it's a Discord glitch.
Okay, so 10 minutes on the clock starts now, and the two prompts that we're going to use are Vibrant Cheese and Solar Punk.
Crystal, vibrant cheese. Always some funny stuff.
Vibrant crystal cheese.
Yeah. But order doesn't really matter. So,
These results are far prettier than I expected from the prompt.
I know. When I saw the combinations, I thought that's going to be amazing to play around.
they are pretty.
Incredibly so.
We're at 7 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yeah. Difficult to decide.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of a conundrum myself.
good position to be in. To know.
This is an embarrassment of riches.
Oh. Forget to change the aspect ratio.
6 minutes and 14 seconds.
Oh, cute.
Love these a lot. We are at the halfway point. That means 5 minutes and 1 second left to prompt. This beautiful crystallized cheese. Can't see the screen from where I am. Solar punk crystallized cheese.
Oh, but vibrant.
Vibrant solar punk. That's true.
Image on it.
One image has been received.
Oh. One. Two minutes and 36 seconds. Bye.
Interested to see what others are posting.
Uh-huh.
The scheme is really fun because it teaches you how to prompt in ways that you would never expect. A lot of people share their deepest, darkest prompting secrets, and then all of a sudden you've got something new that you're obsessed with and you can't stop playing with for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's a great way to rebuild the old mojo.
3 images have been received.
Oh, I gotta choose mine. I was scared. Of course, I'm being lousy. Why wouldn't I be? All right. 3 seconds. Oh no. Me, I'm the problem.
I mean,
Yeah. Found one. Okay. Copy. I was trying to hold on a second. Trying to hide the name, darn it. Yeah, I was trying to rename it. Okay.
do it.
I'm just waiting on an upscale. I'm 70% there, 78.
Yeah. Much time.
Mine's it.
Five images have been received.
How many players?
Donna Noble has been saved.
Oh, I love you for saying that.
6 images have been received. I don't think you need to post that one, Kinky.
Indeed. Such a strong word.
Vote with the emoji 1 through 6.
Yay. So wild how different images are.
I know, I was just thinking the same thing. That's why I like these prompt battles so much. Those you just get different insights and ideas for these things.
Good prompt. I got a bunch of like really awesome stuff.
Is it wrong to vote for all of them?
Only vote for one. Technically, I voted for all of them because I had to add the reactions, but everyone has been voted for, so I can remove them.
Like we have a winner.
Yes, looks like we have a winner. Unless there are some very last-minute votes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
I have. Okay, so time's up, and we have a winner. That's with
Oh, we have a draw.
We had a winner, then we have a draw. Someone removed their vote.
Yeah. Oh,
number one.
And it's just changed again.
It was number one.
Oh, that's not on, is it? I've just seen it change.
When time ended, we had number one, a little girl with a cheese kite, who was responsible for that masterpiece. Gallifrey. 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 All right.
Yes. That's a fun idea.
It is a fun idea. It's very cute.
Almost looks like a piece of pizza.
It does.
Flying high on pizza.
Alrighty.
Mixed graphite pencil illustration.
I like it.
Do you like it?
I also have a very good idea. So,
All right. We're going to get the timer on. 10 minutes. Art sale. I'm so bad at stuff. I'm like trying to prompt at ACZF. Just
You are not the first.
I did the same thing, Kinky.
oops.
I'm like for a scammer.
That happens at least once a day, so new.
I think we all get random DMs anyway. So.
Oh yeah, it happened.
Oh yeah.
That's what I prompted for. Interesting.
I've been prompting right now.
I think that's a good idea. See if I can get the thing I want with emojis.
Yeah. We got to have a special guest hour of Bob's emoji prompt with Palooza.
Yeah,
that was really fun. I can't. I couldn't even do what. I'm like prompt of. What was I going to say?
Thing event.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was a great time. So that was a fun little mini game. And Bob's event is coming soon, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be on the 23rd, so it's actually in a few days. That'll be in the emoji prompt chat thread in Lincoln chat.
So much fun. We're at 7 minutes and 9 seconds on this.
Any emojis.
And it's in 9 seconds. We're at the halfway point on this round. We have 5 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. Does everybody in the chat know how to emoji prompt?
I do. I think it's brilliant.
Anybody ever needs help with that? Bob's Blaze is your guy.
Maybe you have to consult him later on.
Nope, I'm volunteering him right now.
Yeah, I already put my submission. So if anyone has questions, you can just ask in chat and I'll answer. Could have sworn we had an emoji FAQ, but it doesn't look like it exists anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to
I remember. I kind of remember there being one too.
Yeah,
Definitely was one.
Oh,
Yeah. It may have been depreciated or condensed into something, and I just don't know.
Well, I depreciate you. Three minutes and 18 seconds.
New images have been received.
Oh, I can change the file name right there in the. Look at that.
Downloaded, yeah.
I'll get to play. Passing my images around like some sort of image passer. There you go. Doesn't look like it worked. Did it work?
I think you removed the file format.
Oops.
That's something you may want to.
1 minute and 54 seconds left to fix this. Listen, I'm just a game show host, okay? I don't know. What? They just going in there. 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's choosing right now to be a pain in the butt. Because, like, what other time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That just sums up this all beautifully.
Here we go. 39 seconds. Just barking.
5 images have been received.
Yay.
There's still voting going on the old images. I'm surprised. I keep watching the numbers change.
Fun. Yeah.
But you're still the clear winner. Well, there's also number 5 wins now too.
And I know who number 5 is. I know that style anywhere.
Time's up.
I want you to guess. Who is it?
Who number 5 is?
Yeah.
Oh, this needs to drop off. All right, so thank you so much for playing with us while you did.
You're very welcome. It gives someone else a chance to step up anyway if they want to take my spot.
We might be just about done. I don't know what time Mohrbacher usually ends.
Would have ended half an hour ago.
Oh, so we can keep going. I mean, whatever you want to do.
I would do this 24 hours a day. I love it so much.
I know. I don't want
Yeah, prompt battles is so much fun.
I know. You guys, seriously, show up on Sunday, 3 to 11 Eastern time.
Yes.
You got it. You don't have to stay there for the whole 8 hours, but you're welcome to.
Oh, I couldn't. I mean,
You play if you don't want, just hang out. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. And you learn so much that way.
Last I bought a special chair pad so my butt didn't hurt. Sitting there for 8 hours. Oh, now I understand what you did. I was like, oh, she got a chair pad. Yeah, Dad, no, I didn't make the connection. That was for you.
I lost AC.
Did we really?
There he is.
My Discord crashed.
Much emojis.
I know. I was just thinking. There's a bit of a lag.
They do sometimes crash the whole thing. Like when you go to add a reaction, it like puts up a bunch of white panels everywhere. Nightmare.
Yeah, I've gotten that occasionally. This time it was just regular crash.
Yeah. I'm convinced it's because Discord didn't hire me for the UI UX position.
Now look it. Not only are we not going to hire you for the user experience position,
We're gonna make it worse.
Yeah. You're gonna specifically target yours.
To be regretted.
So was I wrong, Bob, when I guessed?
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, but that was me.
All right, people are already voting. Nice.
Okay, so I think I said mine a little late,
Wait,
but I guess.
No, mine was 4 Gallif.
It was? Get in?
I didn't do the
No.
cheat one.
Who did it?
Who did what?
The sparkly, pretty Nietzsche girl.
Okay, voting is on. It's been
You mean in the last round?
Mm-hmm.
That was mine.
Well then, I failed, Bob. In my defense, it does look like a Bob creation.
It does a little bit, yeah. Mine would be
Very nice.
dressed a little bit different.
Have to vote. I thought you were making it rated G for meeting time.
P13.
Yeah, PG-13. G for general.
Generous.
Oh, 27 seconds left to yet.
Seems like we have a runaway winner this time.
It does. And understandably so, because that is just adorable.
It is. I love that.
Yeah.
Love them. Hey. And time is up. Would the winner please step up with number 5? Picture of bats cuddling. So cute.
Who might that be?
Nicely done.
I just noticed my Nosferatu has hair growing out of his teeth.
That's impressive.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And stuck in there from the last person he ate.
I mean, if you're going with World of Darkness Nosferatu, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah. And the new prompt is such. Halloween costume for the modern blank. It's up to you. Halloween costume for the modern blank.
Okay. Well, before we start, I'm going to...
Modern?
Oh.
Put it in the chat so they can keep track of it.
It's a good idea.
How about, no, let me change my prompt because it's going to be...
I'm so excited to be able to do stuff. All right, so new prompt is
The first round.
fashion for the
one.
I know. Yeah. Fashion for the modern Halloween character.
Cool.
Exact phrasing, you can add to it, but believe me, you'll get some good results.
Didn't we have someone who wanted to come in?
That's what I was just going to say before this all gets started.
don't know if we want to. Do we want to start another one, or are we after this? Or, I don't know.
I think we have time for 1 or 2 more rounds, including this one.
Okay, so 2. Or
This one and possibly one after.
all right. So we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, you too. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Have
Bye.
a good day.
Thanks for
And you. See you later.
It's on the clock. Starts now.
That sounds the word. Yay, a new player. Copy the prompt. Check. Random Halloween character. Interesting.
Where do we post?
If you see me typing in your DMs, you could just let me know, Daisy.
Want to you change the name of it, save it, change the name, and then DM it to Ancient Chaos.
Okay.
Who's up now? Who's up on the stage? It's me. Oh, Sofa King! How are you?
Good. How about you?
One of our sweetest new friends that we've met in a while.
Some really interesting designs.
We're at 7 minutes and 47 seconds for anyone wondering.
It's so fun. Really, really cool.
And we're at the halfway point. We're at 5 minutes and 45 seconds. They're just about the halfway point, but not really. I'm rounding up.
The half-ish waypoint.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. It's decided.
You found one?
Yeah,
Yay.
I think it meets what I want.
I'm so very excited about Halloween. Who's excited about Halloween? Who's excited for spooky season?
It's always season. You have a skeleton inside you.
I do.
One way to see Halloween all year. It's just a skeleton cosplaying.
Exactly right. 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
2 images have been received.
Oh. Okay, let me just scroll down after all these things I made and find something.
So fun to just take random patterns, just lump them in with your prompt.
Oh. I bet.
Gets you crazy stuff. Gonna
3 images have been received.
When we are done.
I can't. You could do this. One minute and 21 seconds left. Keep trying to make me change my password. I just save my password. I don't want it. 52 seconds left on the clock.
4 images have been received.
There's a missing.
6 images have been received.
That'd be funny if that was actually just a recording of your voice and you just hit the button.
I could do that.
We could commission them. We had them for the other from 1 to 55.
Hey, I didn't spend way too much money on college, primarily on classes that involved voice work, to not do it. Like, some of you have heard my voicemail message.
Time is up.
I haven't, but
Please make sure that they see out.
time to find out.
Oh, he already had it. Wonderful. I guess I don't have to put my post thing up.
Luxury.
Wow. These are awesome, you guys.
Are we allowed to vote too, or do we stay out if we're participating?
You vote for not yourself.
All right.
All right. So now we're at 1 minute and 35 seconds to vote. These are so cool.
Yeah. Number 6 looks a bit like from an old video game cutscene.
It does feel very FMV.
Yeah. Background that doesn't really fit to the foreground. And then, in this case, probably blue screen background.
Boozlegas, how are you? He is upgrading his GBA for a Pokemon fan game. At AC's attention. 7 seconds left to vote, guys. Get him in, get him in. And we're done. Boom, there's the dynamite. And it looks like we have a winner with number 2. Who is number 2? You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it you, Bob?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gonna post my prompt anyway.
Frankenstein's monster. Oh, I voted for that one.
Yeah, I had to weigh it down, the image prompt, because it was way too strong.
Definitely shows through, though.
Yeah. Tested some interesting stuff with that pattern and circuit board designs.
Uh-huh.
With tile. Gives crazy patterns. Vibrant, fun.
It is vibrant and fun. Just waiting on Babala for the final prompt to Zen Night.
I
Okay, take my leave and invite a new guest.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Hey guys,
love
next
you.
from battle.
Thanks for playing. All right, so the prompt is off-kilter slanted diagonal composition. Slanted dash diagonal composition.
Gotta use those words in that order.
Right. 10 minutes to start, and the timer starts now. Use these words in this order. And I'll just copy and paste it.
Hi guys, just getting my stuff situated. Thanks for having me up.
Down your back. Welcome. Sitting in your little seat.
Yeah, I just got back, dropped my little baby off at a repair shop, get a screen swapped out. Getting my roommate hooked on Pokemon fan games.
Somebody else might like a Pokemon fan game.
It would be cool to do like a, I don't know how you do that, maybe like a Midjourney Poke fan game kind of thing.
There is a gaming room for people that want to play video games together. But I had that made because people were like talking games, like in chats where we were trying to do teaching stuff.
I have definitely been playing more lately since DLC came out.
Yeah. I'm questioning if I should buy it, but yeah, I have to catch up with that.
I'd probably wait until the second part is out.
Oh, okay, so it's still it's not their full release plan yet. Cool.
Because there's not a lot in the first part.
Makes sense. Yeah, but playing these old DS games and then this fan game that's in the style of GBA, just like that was such a sweet spot of Pokemon. All right. No.
I've been trying to grind out the Mewtwo raid without updating so I can still get it. It is just RNG hell.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of a way to just like have it so people could bring their old Pokemon GBA cartridges and just have like 6 people just plop them in, and maybe I guess like copy the ROM data and have like random battles based on what's on there. But that's a lot of weird stuff to be having to program.
Yeah. Theoretically possible though.
Yeah, because there is that like those hardware interfaces that are already present, just like making them all talk together, right?
No. Probably be done through some save dumping.
Yeah. I figured it would be kind of like that kind of thing. It just kind of like cloning all the saves essentially. But yeah, I'm getting ready for the next, writing the script for the next Prompt Battle Royale here in Chicago. So if any of you have any suggestions for prompts to be used on the stage, let me know.
Nice.
I will definitely be at that one because I won't be dead after a flight.
We ended up using the one you suggested. Look at this weird thing I found. That was kind of...
I love that prompt.
Yeah, because then they let them like insert like random thing in the in that part, and then just goofy objects happening all over.
Amazing.
Yeah, because it's funny because like they don't have any experience with Midjourney, and then I'm making them create an image and then like defend it on the spot, which is but it's cool to see them think on their feet.
Need to figure out how you do that because there are so many bars and restaurants around here that I know people that run them. Be cool to have like pop up in Salem. But not during this season. Fuck this season. This is Halloween in Salem, Mass.
Yeah. I mean, you guys live for this part of the year.
It's just a little crowded. Oh my God, so many good results. What time is it? We have 4 minutes and 35 seconds, so we're at the halfish point. For those of you who needed a reminder of the time, I know I did.
Zero images have been received.
Oh.
We're focusing.
Three minutes and 15 seconds remain.
One image has been received.
Commander Shepard, you have a message at your terminal. I couldn't do the voice. Sorry, crack. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Who's that from?
Mass Effect.
Ah. 1 minute and 46 seconds remains.
To be fair, I know nothing about Mass Effect, actually, just enough through cultural osmosis.
Oh no. 53 seconds remain.
I guess I'll just go with this.
That was anticlimactic.
2 images have been
That's usually how everything is. You just like you forget. You're like, I guess.
33 seconds remain.
3 images have been received. 4 images have been received. 5 images have been received.
That is my favorite part of automated voice.
5,
Is like,
4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop. Oof. I like putting it in there. I don't care.
6 images have been received.
I have no idea how many times I forget to put that thing in. Oh, few minutes on the clock to vote. After this, these numbers go down. So we're going to vote with one number once it's time. Coincides with one picture on this sextuplet thing. What did you call it?
Sextet?
A sextet of images. Just as though you were choosing an image to upscale on your quad. Voting is open and it starts now. We have 2 minutes on the clock. Please don't change your vote after we say the voting time is over.
Yeah, I do like the mirroring the Midjourney with the format of the game, because it kind of like makes it more meta contextual in a way.
Interesting that there are like 3 pairs of color combinations here.
Oh yeah, they do kind of go up. Yeah,
right now it seems like there's a runaway lead.
Fade away.
52 seconds remain to vote. We're asking everyone in the chat to vote for one of these images using the number that coincides with it. Art of visual, we are playing prompt battles. This is the last game, though.
Sadly. But they do it every Sunday from 3 to 11 Eastern.
And
join us.
Join us. One of us. One of us.
Yeah, it is fun. Like you just get being forced under the time constraint to have to kind of just like throw stuff at it to get something that you want.
I haven't had my heart race like this in a while.
Oh no, time is up. Let's see who won. That must be. I should probably go back and check because I wonder if anyone took over that lead. Nope,
they did not.
Jonathan took off.
All right. So the winner is number 5 with 10 votes.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
Hey, thanks for playing.
Claire,
Thanks for coming.
Who is number 5?
I think that might be my Audrey Hepburn slime cleric. Is that we're doing American reading? 2, 3.
It's like lime green.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you slime cleric.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Audrey Hepburn, slime cleric, skateboarding. Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting.
So my prompt suggestion would have been classic Hollywood skateboarding.
We would love to see you come over and play with us. Art of visual. I haven't heard from you in a while.
Bob, do a pitch for Emoji Palooza too. The Promptapalooza.
Oh yeah, yeah. So on the 23rd for 48 hours in the emoji prompt room, we'll be doing an event called the Emoji Promptapalooza. You basically have 48 hours to send an image with your prompt, and then everyone votes on it. You get one vote, but you can submit multiple images. If you want an example of like sort of what that looks like, you can scroll up in that channel, and you'll see the last one that we did last month. They're pretty fun. It's like prompt battles, but you have way more time to sort of perfect what you want to do, and a lot more freedom because you can use any prompt as long as it has an emoji.
Yeah.
Good way to sort of test what the system does.
For everybody who hung out, I really appreciate you. I am sorry that you missed out on Peter Mohrbacher, but I hope you had a great time. And we certainly did. Come on and play with us, and come play with Bob. And I mean, Midjourney's a great place with a great community. And if you don't go down and check out the people in the voice chats, even if you just want to type, you're missing out, guys. Come on, what are you thinking? And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Ciao.
Thanks, guys.